Our offering is a little different to do when we're on Zoom. And so we have the slide of the offering. The offering this year is Frontera De Cristo. And Frontera De Cristo is a Presbyterian border ministry located in the sister cities of Agua Prieta, Sonora, and Douglas, Arizona. They work with churches, presbyteries, and secular organizations on both sides of the border to do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with God. The Reverend Mark Adams is with them, and he's a graduate of Columbia Theological Seminary, originally from South Carolina. He served as the U.S. coordinator of Frontera de Cristo since 1998. And I will let him update us and tell us about the border ministry. You know, living in Arizona, this border is not that far, and it's terrifically important. Mark, are you there?
Yes, I am, and thank you, and it's a real blessing and honor to be with y'all this morning. We're honored to have the support of Presbyterian Women of Grand Canyon, and also to recognize the role of Presbyterian Women in the foundation of Frontera de Cristo 37 years ago this October. The birthday offering was one of the seed monies that got Frontera de Cristo going, and so Presbyterian Women have been foundational for Frontera de Cristo from its inception. If I might share my screen, I want to share a few images with you of Frontera de Cristo and share a few stories of here. Let's see, slideshow from the beginning. All right, so Frontera de Cristo was founded 37 years ago as a partnership of folks on both sides of the border with the desire to discern what is God calling us to be and do together here on the U.S.-Mexico border. It was a kind of really a pioneering vision of changing the idea of mission from the idea of mission as something that the U.S. church did for another or to another country, and having two churches come together and be in ministry in partnership and working together, discerning how is God calling us to be together here. Three of the ways we live out that vision is to build relationships and understanding across borders, to respond in faith to the realities of immigration, and to respond in faith to the realities of the drug culture. And I'll share just a few of the stories there. Here we have two women, and I want you to think about, what does this picture say to you, seeing these two women here. This was at the 35th anniversary of Frontera de Cristo, and it's in the Café Justo y Más coffee shop in Agua Prieta. And on your right, you have Shirley Jewell. And Shirley Jewell was a member of the board of Frontera de Cristo and is a board member emeritus, and continues to be encouraging and praying for the ministry of Frontera de Cristo, and continues to be an active part of who we are, even as her mobility has diminished over the last couple years. Beside her is Doña Zoraida Santiago. Doña Zoraida Santiago was a founding member of Café Justo. Many of you may have heard of Café Justo, and many of the churches of Grand Canyon Presbytery are partners of Café Justo and partners of the vision that Doña Zoraida helped sow 19 years ago. When she was 72 years old, she had a vision together with other farmers for their families to be able to be united on the land that they loved. At that time, most of their children had fled their communities because of lack of economic opportunities, including Doña Zoraida's son, Mundo, who was in Atlanta roofing houses. And so these pioneering folks decided to join together to start an international roasting business and export business for their coffee, in which they could provide their coffee directly to folks who consume their coffee and keep the value added within their community. Almost all but two of the founding members, all but two of the founding members were in their 50s, 60s, and 70s when Café Justo was founded. And so they saw that vision realized. Their children started coming back and they were able to retire. And Mundo became the active partner in Café Justo, even as Doña Zoraida continued to be very active in the family business up until her death, which was just 2 days ago. Doña Zoraida was an inspiration to many. I'm sorry. Very grateful to God for her life, and I'm grateful that her family could be with her when she died, that her son was by her side, that her granddaughters had not had to migrate from the community. They both had finished high school and they'd finished college, and they're able to be together on the land. And it's because of her vision 19 years ago and the vision of the other farmers that community has been transformed. And it's because of partnerships of churches like many in the Grand Canyon Presbyterian and throughout the United States who have chosen to join together in the vision of Doña Zoraida. So these are two incredible women who have kind of had visions of crazy ideas. They had crazy visions, and God has blessed those crazy visions that they had and made them into a reality. I want to share this story. One of the newest areas of ministry for Frontera De Cristo is our children's enrichment ministry, which is 4 years old now. It emerged out of a discernment process of our board when we realized that for many years we had been working with folks who were in rehab centers, drug and alcohol rehab centers, and working so that they can be reincorporated and supporting them in their recovery as they sought to be reincorporated into society. But we realized that we had not been addressing root causes of the realities of drugs. And we started seeing that younger and younger children were being targeted, not just for the consumption of drugs, but also to get involved in the drug business. And so one of the primary targets were kids who had dropped out of school. And so we started talking with the schools in our neighborhoods and realized that that was a great need so that children would be able to continue in school and also to have visions of other things other than getting involved in the drug culture. And so we work with 3 local schools who help us connect with families whose children are in need of some extra help and to catch up and who are at risk of dropping out of school. And one of our teachers is Enedia, and I want to share a story that she wrote just recently. And these are the words of Enedia. I'm grateful to God for the opportunity and the ability to help with this beautiful work of teaching. The goal is to see our work bear fruit in the children. Jose Miguel suffered from a lack of connection to his regular teacher in school during this pandemic. His school suggested that we work with him as part of the Children's Enrichment Ministry to help him catch up with what he had lost. We started the process through video calls, which weren't really so frequent as we would have wanted because there were bad internet connections in his home. After seeing the interest of Jose Miguel and his parents, we extended the invitation to attend face-to-face classes, and this is where the beauty of this story began blooming during this time of pandemic. Samuel, like Jose Manuel, is 7 years old and in the same classroom at their school when they were in person. Samuel's teachers recently identified him as well as in need of extra support and have channeled him to the Children's Enrichment Ministry just as they had with Jose Manuel. Samuel was surprised when he saw his friend reading for the first time at Nueva Esperanza, the community center. Samuel told us, "He's so slow in school. He never spoke and he didn't know how to read or write, and the teacher always scolded him. But now he can read and write, and I still can't. He is more intelligent than me now," because Samuel had made fun of Jose Manuel before. Jose comes to enrichment classes without missing. Samuel wants to read and write now, but he has not been able to come to these last 2 weeks because of allergies. His mother told us that he wants to come back and to please hold a space for him. He wants to learn to read and write more than ever. Teacher Anadia from the New Hope Community Center Children's Enrichment Ministry. This is Matilde. Matilde is a young mother who is a leader at the Dougla Prieta Trabaja Women's Cooperative. They took a piece of land that would not grow weeds. Weeds couldn't grow on it, and they cultivated that land to grow food. And they've also have a sewing cooperative. And now they're partnering with us, with Frontera De Cristo, to expand to have a children's enrichment program in their community. They're in one of the poorest neighborhoods in Agua Prieta, and the wall you see to the right is actually the wall to the elementary school that's just right next door to Dougla Prieta. And so Frontera De Cristo, working in partnership with Dougla Prieta Trabaja and also the school next door, are working to begin the Children's Enrichment Ministry there in the next school year. And this was made possible from a grant from the Presbyterian Women Thank Offering. We were just approved and will be receiving funds from the Presbyterian Women Thank Offering in May to help with the development of this. This is Matilde. This is her words that she shares about this process. "We have spent years growing nutritious food in our community garden. When we began, even weeds would not grow, and so we had to cultivate the soil, digging and digging, removing the caliche, an alkaline clay, and composting and composting and composting. Now we grow more food than we can eat, and we share. We're excited to start this new time in our cooperative. We're excited to have this new classroom where we'll be able to welcome children of the community. I do have mixed feelings because to have this space, we had to give up part of our garden, a part that had provided lots of food, beans and chard and squash and corn and tomatoes and peppers. But I'm happy because we are now going to dedicate this space to cultivate the intelligence, talent, and creativity of the children of the community. And we are also going to teach them to cultivate food in their homes. This piece of God's creation will no longer grow vegetables, but it will be a place where our children grow, and they will bear fruit in our community, and our community will be transformed. Matilde Sagaste, leader of the Dougla Prieta Trabaja Women's Cooperative and mother in the ladrillera or brick making community. So we're grateful to God for the gift of women's leadership. We're grateful to God for the gift of the vision and the tenacity of women. We're grateful to God for the ways in which Presbyterian women have walked alongside our community and accompanied us and helped visions grow into reality. I do want to, as I close, just put in the chat, if I can find the chat, a piece that the Frontera De Cristo team put up on our Facebook page last week on the International Day of Women, so that you can get to know more of the women leaders of Frontera De Cristo. And we hope the day will come soon where It'll be safe for folks to come back, and we would love for you to come down and share a bit of life and ministry with this amazing community on the U.S.-Mexico border. Thank you, and God bless you.
And God bless you, Mark. We really appreciate your being with us here today. And anything we can do, you know who I am, and Mary, you know Mary very well. So just let Mary know. We could note to Mary, we could almost have this as one of the featured speakers at a gathering. Thank you, Mark. Can we now have the flyer that tells where people will send money so that they can contribute to this ministry? I don't want to shorten the time. You see there it is, Spring Gathering, and you mail it to Norma Mack, who is the treasurer of Presbyterian Women in the Presbytery. And it is very much appreciated if you would like to give to Frontera De Cristo, because of the work that they do is so important.
Please remember to make your check payable to Presbyterian Women of the Southwest.
Yes,
Southwest.
that's who the check goes to. PW Women of Grand Canyon. It's Presbyterian Women of Grand Canyon. So anyway, if that went too fast or you can't, please, you can call me, you can email me, you can go to your moderator. Your moderator will know.